Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Curse of Oak Island. Emma Culligan makes huge discovery. Many fans believe the Curse of Oak Island will never uncover any real treasure before the show finally ends. However, there is one person who has starred on the show and made some groundbreaking discoveries of her own. This is Emma Culligan, an archaeologist who became a fan favorite on the reality TV series. Here is what you need to know about Emma Culligan. The Curse of Oak Island star makes groundbreaking discoveries. Ever since The Curse of Oak Island premiered on the History Channel, Rick and Marty Lagina have been hunting for elusive treasure. They have connected the island to the Knights Templar and Vikings. The brothers have studied history and remained entertaining. They haven't really found any treasure yet though. After 10 years on the History Channel, several researchers and professionals joined the show to keep the journey fresh. One specialist was Emma Culligan, an archaeologist. Emma is the person who came onto the show and helped confirm the presence of a Roman coin they found in Lot 5. This was one of the big revolutionary finds on the island in Season 12, Episode 2. Emma confirmed the coin was made of an uncommon alloy in contemporary coins, 70% copper and 16% lead. She theorized the item was a Roman coin that dates to between 200 and 300 AD. This excited everyone to know there might be more down there. These rare Roman coins include historical hints about trade routes and cross-cultural interactions. More importantly for Rick and Marty, it hints at the buried treasure they desperately want to find. Who is Emma Culligan on The Curse of Oak Island? Emma Culligan is a metallurgist, engineer, and archaeologist via Mio.com. She went to Memorial University in Newfoundland. While she looks young, she is very experienced and has helped identify artifacts using CT scans and carbon dating. Emma grew up in Japan. She said on the show that she was raised there, and Japanese was actually her first language. Emma didn't start to learn English until she was 15. She appeared on the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond podcast to discuss joining the show and said she initially thought the entire thing was a sham. At first, she assumed she would be a personal assistant before learning they wanted her for her archaeological experience. Laird Niven is one person excited about what Culligan brings to the show. In the podcast episode, he said Culligan found fold residue on a piece of wood and that her reaction was holy ****. He said that she has changed how people treat gold on the digs. The morning sun broke over Oak Island, casting golden light across the windswept trees and glistening waters. Emma Culligan, a young archaeologist brought onto the team for her expertise in historical artifacts, stood at the edge of the money pit. She squinted down at the gaping hole, her heart racing with anticipation. This was her first season working with the Laginas and their determined crew, and she was ready to prove her worth. Emma had spent the previous night poring over old maps and journals in the research center. One particular entry in a 17th-century logbook had caught her attention. It described a peculiar stone marker inscribed with cryptic symbols, buried on the island to safeguard a hidden chamber. The stone, if it still existed, could potentially be a key to solving the mystery of Oak Island. The discovery begins. Emma, Rick Lagina's voice boomed across the dig site. He approached with his characteristic mix of excitement and skepticism. "What have you got for us today?" She held up a tattered notebook, its pages covered in her precise handwriting and sketches. "I think I've found something. There's a record of a marker stone, possibly linked to the original treasure depositors. If we follow the clues, we might find where it's buried." Rick's eyes lit up and Marty, who had been listening nearby, joined the conversation. "Another clue, huh? How solid is this lead?" Marty asked, always the pragmatist. Emma nodded confidently. "The coordinates line up with an area near Smith's Cove. If the marker stone is there, it could confirm the existence of a hidden chamber beneath." With that, the team sprang into action. Heavy machinery was brought in, and Gary Drayton grabbed his trusty metal detector, ever the optimist about finding top-pocket finds. Uncovering the marker stone. After hours of digging and careful exploration near Smith's Cove, Emma's hunch paid off. The bucket of the excavator unearthed a rectangular slab of stone, weathered but unmistakably engraved with intricate symbols. Emma gasped as she brushed away the dirt, her fingers trembling. "That's a Bobby Dazzler," Gary exclaimed, leaning closer to inspect the find. Rick and Marty crouched down beside Emma, their expressions a mix of amazement and disbelief. The symbols were unlike anything they'd seen before, an odd combination of Latin, nautical markings, and what appeared to be Templar crosses. Emma traced her fingers over the carvings, deciphering their meaning. "These markings, they're a set of directions. But it's not just a map, it's a warning." "A warning about what?" Rick asked, his voice low. Emma looked up, her face pale. "It says, 'Beware the tides. The chamber sleeps beneath.' If I'm right, it means there's an underground chamber only accessible during low tide. Into the depths." The team sprang into action once again, consulting tide charts and preparing for an expedition. The engraved directions led to a small inlet near the island's southeastern shore. As the tide receded, a hidden tunnel became visible, its entrance framed by jagged rocks. Donning wetsuits and helmets, Emma, Rick, and a few brave team members ventured into the tunnel. Water lapped at their knees as they followed the carved symbols illuminated by their flashlights. The air grew colder, and the sound of dripping water echoed eerily around them. After what felt like an eternity, the tunnel opened into a large, circular chamber. Emma's breath caught in her throat. The walls were lined with wooden beams, some of which looked remarkably well preserved for their age. In the center of the room lay a stone altar, partially submerged in water. "Unbelievable," Rick whispered, his voice reverent. "This could be it. The treasure beneath." Emma approached the altar, her heart pounding. She noticed more carvings along its edges, detailing the story of the depositors. They were a mix of Templar knights and rogue mariners, united in their quest to protect an invaluable treasure. The carvings hinted at gold, jewels, and artifacts of immense historical and religious significance. "Over here," Marty called from the corner of the chamber. He pointed to a wooden chest half buried in sediment. With great care, the team worked together to pry it open. Inside were coins, gilded artifacts, and a small, intricately crafted cross. Emma held the cross in her hands, marveling at its craftsmanship. "This could be a Templar relic," she murmured, her voice trembling with awe. "It's priceless." As they documented the find, Rick couldn't help but smile. "Emma, you've just rewritten the history of Oak Island. A new mystery emerges." But the discovery was only the beginning. As the team continued to explore the chamber, Emma noticed another set of symbols etched into the far wall. They depicted a map of Oak Island, with a series of interconnected tunnels and chambers. One location, marked with a prominent cross, seemed to suggest an even larger cache of treasure. "This map, it shows more than we ever imagined," Emma said, her voice filled with wonder. Rick and Marty exchanged a look of determination. The discovery of the marker stone and the chamber had reignited their hope that Oak Island's greatest secrets were still waiting to be uncovered. Back at the research center. That evening, the team gathered in the research center to review their findings. The artifacts were carefully cataloged, and Emma's sketches of the chamber and map were displayed on the screen. "Today was historic," Rick said, addressing the team. "But it's clear we've only scratched the surface. There's more to this island than we ever dreamed." Emma smiled, feeling a sense of pride and belonging. She had come to Oak Island as an outsider, but now she was an integral part of the team. And though they had made a monumental discovery, she knew the adventure was far from over. Epilogue. As the team celebrated their success, Emma couldn't shake a lingering thought. The warning on the marker stone, "Beware the tides," seemed to carry a deeper meaning. What if the treasure wasn't just protected by physical barriers, but by something far more mysterious? Outside, the tide began to rise again, slowly flooding the chamber beneath Oak Island, and in the shadows of the inlet, something ancient stirred, waiting for the next chapter of the island's curse to unfold.